when I was 10. When I was 10, I think when I was 10 it was probably, I think Jonah Lomu. I think just he was the guy for me that made rugby fun, made it exciting, made it special. So he could do things that no one else could do at that time. So yeah, definitely Jonah. And I got to play against him, which was amazing. Leeds against Cardiff. And clung on to his lace and tackled him, and he laughed at me and fell over. But yeah, that was just obviously special to play against him.
Who was your rugby hero?
Lewis Moody was the one I wanted to sort of be as good as him, like try and do what he does, and that was the guy I looked up to. Yeah.
Sebastian Chabal. I used to love watching him. Just because he was a big hitter, wasn't he? Used to smoke boys. Obviously, he's nothing like me. Completely different end of the spectrum. But yeah, I just really enjoyed watching Sebastian Chabal. To be honest, I thought he was pretty physical, so that's what I liked watching.
Around 10 years old, I sort of grew up. I guess that was roughly the time of the 2003 World Cup. So the obvious answer for me, being a second row, probably Martin Johnson was probably someone who sort of captained the country to a World Cup. And playing the same position as me, he was certainly someone growing up that I certainly looked to as a bit of a hero of mine.
I didn't play rugby when I was 10. I've got a rugby hero from my childhood. I think the first rugby game I watched and knew what was going on would have been the Lions in 2009, I think. So watching, I remember Simon Shaw, Tom Croft, Adam Jones, all those guys from that tour. So that was that was probably my first rugby experience I can remember.
Oh, it's pretty cliche. It's Jonny Wilkinson, obviously. To be fair, I was a fly half back then, so.
Who was your rugby hero when you were 10?
Pretty, it's Jonny Wilkinson. It's a classic for most people, but I think I was only 6 years old when he obviously dropped that drop goal to win the World Cup, and I was playing fly half at the time as well. So yeah, here's inspiration growing up.
When I was 10 years old, Jason Robinson. We would say I think you try and look for something within yourself with someone else. So obviously he was the only black player playing for England, and being a black guy growing up, that was phenomenal for me to see, and especially what he did for the game. So Jason Robinson is a pretty important player in my kind of growth as a rugby player.
When I was 10 years old, my rugby hero growing up was probably my dad. So growing up, he got me into it. But we're talking England players. I was a huge Jonny Wilkinson fan as a kid. So I probably still was. He was still playing when I was 10. So yeah, he would have been my rugby hero.
Jason Robinson, same position, obviously electric, all the tries, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
When I was 10, it was definitely Jonny Wilkinson. I grew up I was playing 10 until sort of 21, 22. So yeah, definitely when I was about that age, it was Jonny Wilkinson.
I had a few, to be fair. I think the obvious one for me is Jonny Wilkinson. Obviously, growing up with that in that era and him winning the World Cup pretty much for England, I think he was someone that I aspired to be like, and get the accolades that he has is pretty fantastic. So he's always someone that I looked up to when I was younger.
Jonny Wilkinson, Jason Robinson, Will Greenwood, that class of 2003. Yeah, they were inspiring what they did. So yeah, those guys.
10 years old. I don't even know if I was following rugby at 10, but my early ages probably was someone like Manu Tuolangi, Sonny Bill Williams. Those are probably the players that I watched growing up and wanted to replicate, I guess.
Christian Cullen was an idol of mine early on, and then I guess Jonny Wilkinson. It's cheating to say, but I was at home in the living room with my parents watching England win, and it was an age where I was really enjoying my rugby and kicking a lot, and he was just the main man and the guy who was doing everything. So yeah, he was someone that everyone looked up to.
It was Lawrence Diallo actually. I actually probably don't know this, but he played at the RL ground years ago, and I don't know why, but I think he drove home. He must have, because all the rest of the team got in the coach, and I was the one looking for autographs and stuff. And I remember I got this wrong, but he drove there, and in the car, I think it was a sports car. Maybe he let me sit in his passenger seat. So yeah, before me. So yeah, I don't remember that. And I think it was a sports car. I remember thinking it was weird for a big bloke. But yeah, when I was young, I used to think I was a back row player. I liked to think I I had decent hands. He run about a bit, and I thought that's what Lawrence was like. So.